Now, I'm standing here on Hadrian's Wall footpath next to the River Eden in Carlisle. And the reason I'm here is it is very close to where the water wheel was that lifted water up into the Carlisle Ship Canal, which was up on the hill just over here. And it was 60 foot above the height of the sea at Port Carlisle, 11 miles away. Now, how did this canal come about and why was it needed? Well, at that time, the people in Carlisle were very upset in that they could not develop as towns were elsewhere in the country, because the coal in Carlisle cost 4 times as much as it did at Maryport, where it was mined. And this was because there was no port in Carlisle. The nearest port was actually Sandsfield Farm, about 3.5 miles out of Carlisle, which meant that a lot of material had to be brought by horse and carts from that position. They talked about a canal from Newcastle to Carlisle 20 odd years earlier, but it never came about. And so they got William Chapman, the designer of that canal, to design a much shorter canal, only 11 miles long, out to the coast. Now, this was the water wheel pit, and over its life it had 2 water wheels in here, because once the canal opened, the demand for water was much greater than they expected, and they had to build a much bigger water wheel, especially in the summertime. But even that couldn't cope. It got very busy with the canal because it brought the price of coal down by, from 6 pence a peck down to 1.5 pence a peck, the same as elsewhere in the country. And all of the mills in and around Carlisle were able to convert to steam instead of having to rely on water power alone, which was not very convenient. Even this was overcome as well, in that later on they had to bring in a steam engine, and it was the biggest steam engine, came from Cornwall, ever seen in the county, and that solved the problem of water supply for the canal. And the canal thereafter didn't have to worry about water, and it became very busy indeed, and Carlisle developed much faster as a result of this canal. Unfortunately, the canal was only started to be built in 1819, and it wasn't long after that before the first railway lines came in, the first railways. And at one stage they thought of extending the canal to Newcastle, and they checked the cost of doing both, either that or the railway, and they realised the railway was at least only about 1/4 the cost. So we ended up, as a result, having the Newcastle to Carlisle railway, which came right down to the canal basin, and you could then get from coast to coast quite easily. But then a few years after that, they built the Maryport to Carlisle railway, which was in direct competition with the canal, and the canal could not fight this competition basically because they could go by rail right across to Maryport. And so as a result the canal closed in 1851. It was only 30 odd years it was there, but in that time it made a vast difference to the development of industry in Carlisle.